just training. In the series of the in-house teacher training, now we are going to start the next topic, that's the promoting mental health. Today we will talk about that, what are the mental issues, what are the problems related from the mental status of a child, or that's the components are that problems and their remedy about this mental health, mental status of the child, as we are familiar about that. For all the concern, all the development of a child or the development of everyone in the society, that is the physical, mental, and social aspects are the main concern. According to the World Health Organization, we know that define that a good health, the definition of the health, that is a person that is not merely away from the diseases, whenever that is the physically, mentally, and socially complete well-being, then that can be considered as the healthy person. That should be miracle, or that should be surprise for all of you. Now they are intentionally thinking about the spiritual health also. No doubt, till date, especially in our country, we are not talking about that spiritual health and spirituality. That is not a matter of the health, but it will be surprise for all of you. In the USA now, that's the in practice, that is the mandatory for all the medical practitioners to prescribe to the patient suggestion. As we know that there are the advices with the different medicines, doctors provide the advice what you should be take care, or what are the things from which you should be avoid to that from your life, from your daily routine. Regarding that, the doctors are instructed to suggest to their patients 2 points. That's mandatory there. First thing, doctor suggests to the patient that must perform at least 2 hours of the social work per week. And another important fact, they should be visit to their place of spirituality, or they can go to the temple, mosque, or church. They are most popular, there is the church. तो 2 घंटे एटलीस्ट हर हफ्ते उनको ये सलाह दी जाती है कि वो सोशल वर्क करें, और सोशल वर्क के साथ साथ स्पिरिचुअल वर्क भी करें, कुछ स्पिरिचुअलिटी के लिए भी टाइम भी दें. That is the fourth and another important aspects of the mental health. This will be try to understand today what are the different aspects of the mental health and what are the matter of the concern for us as a teacher, for our children, for our students. Okay. That's the given mental health and well-being. Health is a complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. We have discussed about that. Well-being reflects values, norms, human needs, etc., as perceived by people themselves. The well-being, what is the concept of the well-being? That reflects values. We are getting that. The first most important thing there is given the values. What are the life values? What we get, norms, human needs, etc., as perceived by people themselves. What we are able to learn to themselves for our life, for our betterment, and that's not for the betterment of themselves only, for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the family, for the betterment of everyone who are around us, उनके बारे में हम क्या करते हैं, क्या सीखते हैं और उसको कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करते हैं. दैट्स द well-being. Mental health and well-being both are the associated to each other. Understanding of mental health and mental illness determines by meanings given to experiences and feelings in a context of people's culture. किस कल्चर में वो पला बढ़ा है, कैसे, क्या कल्चर उसने अपने सराउंडिंग से लिया है, क्या एक्सपीरियंसेस उसने लिए हैं. ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर कलेक्टिवली दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ दैट पर्सनालिटी ऑफ दैट पर्सन. Collectively we cannot ignore to that. We are familiar about that fact. Every organism have the two fundamental things in their life. First one, what's their genetic composition. We are familiar about that concept of the genotype and phenotype. What is that genetic composition? क्या उसको जेनेटिक मिला है अपने पेरेंट्स से. उनके अलावा दूसरा जो फैक्टर आता है, दैट इज द सराउंडिंग एनवायरनमेंट. फ्रॉम दैट they get the experience, they get the feelings, and according to that they inculcate the property to respond their surroundings. Next, that is the mental health is not just a technical matter. Be careful about that. That's not only the technicality, but connects with a way of life, values and worldview that vary across cultures. सिर्फ ये कोई सिंपल टेक्निकल मैटर नहीं है. नो, नॉट ओनली टेक्निकल. दैट इज द वे ऑफ लाइफ, हाउ दैट पर्सन परफॉर्म, दैट रिस्पॉन्ड टू द डिफरेंट एक्शन, डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज ऑफ द nature, different activities of the surrounding people. That's according to that perform the different life activities. That is a way of life. For the same action, the response of the different people, that should be different. You might be know about that. Whenever you ask the question in the classroom, the response of the different students, that should be vary. अलग अलग बच्चों के अलग अलग रिस्पांस आते हैं. Whenever you are asking the question, someone become very happy and they should be ready to reply that. They become excited about that. Whenever they have the idea regarding that, whenever they are known about that something regarding your question, they are knowing about the answer of your question, they will be excited to reply that. While whenever that child is not familiar about that term, that have not learned that, that should be try to hide to themselves. अपने आप को छिपाना शुरू कर देता है. तो way of life, the way of respond, that should be different in the different students according to that what they have the experience, what they have the feelings, values of the life. What are the simply we can say that is the moral values, different manners and world view that vary across culture. Certainly according to the culture of the child, that should be vary in the different cultures, different society. The response of the different people, that should be not similar, not same. Next point, that is the understanding of well-being in development studies reflects range of human experience, social, mental, spiritual, and material. Now we are getting that. And person that is surrounded by these four factors. All these factors, they have the impact in the life of a person. What's that society? What is their mental status, spiritual matter, And as we are familiar about that, the another factor is also given here, that is described material. What are the materials are available? Materialistic world, we are talking about that. Now the world is the materialistic. So matters are present around us, that what are the life facilities are available with that have the impact on that child of a person in their development of the person. Next point that comes that community perceptions of mental health and well-being. What's that perception of the community? In that we are getting that these are the first 4 points. Material well-being, that is basically commonly known as the things or wealth that is available, that facilitate to the life of a person in the society. Availability of resources with that person, that should be different, and that availability varies. The learning capacity, all the activities. Sanjeev sir, please mute themselves. Sanjeev sir, अगर आवाज सुन रहे हैं तो म्यूट कर लें. Social well-being, what's that responsibility, what's that things that is getting from the society, and in lieu of that, what that person is ready to do that for society also. That's the social well-being. Security, that is very important aspect, or we can say that from the very beginning of the civilization, we have a great concern regarding the security. A proper response we can get only at that condition whenever a person, an organism is feeling that that is secure in that particular environment. That is a very, very important aspect of the life. From the very beginning of civilization, we have started to develop that instruments or the weapons for our protection, our safety. In similar manner, everywhere, whenever we are willing to get a proper response, a proper action of a person, we are responsible to secure that the security of that person. In schools, that is a great matter of concern. We are familiar about the different incidents of the different schools across the world. It's our primary responsibility, main responsibility as a teacher. Whenever that child is in your classroom, it's your responsibility, it's our responsibility to confirm that child that is secure with you. Till that time, that learning and responding of that child should be not in a proper way. That is not getting to secure to themselves in that environment in your classroom. Together with all these 3 aspects, that physical, mental, and moral, spiritual well-being, all these conditions are possible with the support, with the help of above contents. Physical fitness of a child, that should be depend of a person, that is the output of the nutrition and the surrounding environment. As we are familiar about that, we talk about that personal hygiene, public hygiene, that different concern of that hygienes are essential for the physical health. Till that time, a child, a person not should be physically fit, that is getting the sufficient nutrients in their diet, what is their requirement according to that is not suffering from the starvation or the deficiency of any nutrient, then we can hope that that will be healthy physically. And certainly what that have got from the physical health, that enhance the mental ability of that child. That mental ability of that child should be developed in a healthy environment, healthy surrounding. That's the output of the personal and public hygiene. And that another point, the moral and spiritual well-being that should be inculcated by that child, that person, from their family, from their society, from the different aspects or response of their elders of the society. वो सीखता है, एक इंसान अपने जीवन में सीखता है और उसका डेवलपमेंट होता है. Now we are going to expand that material well-being. Having a stable employment, as I have told, that the wealth, that is very important aspect of our life. Till that time we don't have a stable employment, livelihood, till that time the material well-being is not possible. Vandana ma'am, please.
पूरा मैंने पाठ का सारांश बताया. दूसरा क्वेश्चन क्या है?
म्यूट करिए वंदना मैम. Am I audible?
इसका कम में है उत्तर.
प्लीज. बुलाइए ना.
ए अभिनंदन, कॉपी लेके बाहर भेज देंगे.
अगर कोई
नहीं जाना.
अगर 9D के आसपास कोई टीचर है तो प्लीज वंदना मैम को इन्फॉर्म करें, प्लीज. ओके
ओके सर.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. A material well-being that should be started from the stable employment and livelihood. Till the time a person is not getting comfortable, that should be not easily fulfill their basic requirements. In that condition, the employment and livelihood, that is required. Having a stable cash income for a person, that is necessary. If there will be not a regular source of income, till that time that will be not feel free to perform their response, perform their activities in life. Access of adequate land, that is also the basic requirement. Having permanent, secure and spacious house, all these things are the material which are required for a person. And in the unavailability, in the crisis of anyone among these, a person cannot get a material well-being. Next, that's the social well-being. Social well-being, that's providing good education and socialization for children from the very beginning. If that's a child is not getting a proper education, and with the proper education, the another aspects of the socialization, what's the surrounding of that child, both are equally important for that child of the development of that child in their life. Then caring of children, that is the very important. Whenever a child not get proper care in the family, in school or in the society, till that time that should be not feel to secure to themselves. From the very beginning, mother cares to the child, their proper nursing of that child, that is important. And in all the aspects of the life of a child, their parents are essentially responsible. They are the key components of the child. बच्चे के जीवन में सबसे जरूरत है, सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत पड़ती है उसके माँ और मदर और फादर की, जो कि उसकी प्रॉपर केयर कर सकें और उसके ओवरऑल ग्रोथ डेवलपमेंट के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल हों। अगर ग्रोथ और डेवलपमेंट प्रॉपर होगा, then that should be physically as well mentally capable to perform all the things. That should be developed a perfect person. Unity and harmony within family, that is the very important factor. What are the material well-being? Material well-being, that should be not sufficient for a child. You are familiar about that. A lot of the cases of the society, whenever that family is very wealthy, even their childs are the retarded, mentally retarded. ये एग्जाम्पल आपको सोसाइटी में देखना को मिलेगा, especially that is a matter of concern in such type of the society where the wealth is very good. That is the materialistic family, or they are very wealthy. In that condition, there is a problem, major problem. Parents are not unite. There is not a harmony in the family. The case of the divorce or the friction in the family, that is the drawback, and that causes a great concern in the proper development of the child. Unity and harmony within community. Nowadays, we have a burning example of the Karnataka. At the place of the education, what's going on, all of you are very well known about that. The matter of the hijab, matter of the saffron, towels, that's not a harmony, that's not the unity. Such type of the incidents that adversely affect to the development of a child. We cannot hope with a normal child in such society. That's why it's our responsibility, what's our capability, what's our capacity. Within that, we try to do our best to minimize that chances of the inequality in society and disturbance or damage of the harmony in the society. Unity and harmony with neighbor communities, host communities, that is important. Unity, that is known as the strength. When we unite, we stand. Whenever we divide, we fall. ये कहा जाता है, बहुत जमाने से ये बात चली आ रही कि अगर हम संगठित हैं तभी हम कुछ कर सकते हैं, अच्छा कर सकते हैं. अगर हम डिवाइड हैं, डिस्प्यूट्स हैं हमारे अंदर, then we cannot do well. Our development, the entire growth and development of the community society, that's not possible. And that should be started from a child, from what that child is getting from our society, from the family. According to that, there should be the development. Very well known fact. Social well-being, access to services, availability of services, self-respect and dignity. That is important. All of us are in need of respect. And that respect, what we get from others, before to that, that's mandatory for all of us. We have a property, we inculcate the property among themselves as well in our children. The self-respect, that one cannot do the respect to others who don't have the self-respect. जिसको अपनी respect नहीं, वो दूसरों को respect नहीं करेगा. And who is not determined who are unable to maintain their own dignity, they cannot able to perform their duties honestly, responsibilities, clean and free environment. That's the very important concern of the hygiene. Clean and free environment, as we are now getting, that is the pollution, is a major concern all over the world. पूरी दुनिया में सबसे बड़ा एक कंसर्न हो गया है pollution. And regarding that pollution, we are familiar about that. That is a output, that is the reaction, or that is the all the activities of the human being only. How we can control all over the world, we are familiar about that. We are knowing that. हम जान रहे हैं. There is no any other threat greater than that, the problem of the clean and free environment in this world at present. What are all the minor concerns? तमाम सारी बातें हैं, सब है, लेकिन इन सब में सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम जो है, सबसे बड़ी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, दैट इज द क्लीन एंड फ्री एनवायरनमेंट, फ्री फ्रॉम द पॉल्यूशन, फ्री ऑफ अल्कोहल एंड ड्रग यूज. That's another very important concern of our society. Whenever that society is involved in the alcohol and drug abuses, how that we can imagine about a healthy society and healthy individual, healthy persons. That is the very important aspect. Regarding that, we are we can honor to that step of the Bihar state, where the alcohol is totally banned. That is a great concern of the society, and that is the support, or that is a positive approach of the authority. In the reference of the security, we can say that secure environment for the living without fear and outside threats, as already we have discussed about that. Till that time, the proper development and proper mental health is not possible whenever that is a person, a child, that is in fear. In the classroom, especially for the
Sit down.
for us.
Sit down. बैठो.
Kiran ma'am,
बैठो.
that is one of the most important concern for all of us.
चलो बैठो.
We must be careful about that joining. It's mandatory for all of us to join the meeting, and at the time of the joining of meeting, we must be careful
ये मतलब 20 आ रहा है.
to themselves. If anybody, कोई है अगर किरण मैडम के आसपास, तो उनको थोड़ा सा इन्फॉर्म करें कि वो अपना माइक म्यूट करें. अजय सर, किरण मैडम, we don't have the option to mute the participants. मुझे लग रहा है, मैं सबसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं, प्लीज एक बात हम लोग ध्यान रखें. व्हाट आर द डेकोरम, क्या है, कैसे है, वी आर फैमिलियर अबाउट दैट. What we are doing, we are very well known about that. So please, in any meeting, whenever you are joining after 5 minutes, अगर मीटिंग शुरू होने के 5 मिनट के बाद आप ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, तो सबसे पहला काम ये कर लें कि अपने माइक को म्यूट कर लें. नो नीड ऑफ द गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड मॉर्निंग, दैट्स ओके. That's not a matter of concern. The matter of concern is only to be mute. Continue हम रहें. Okay. Thanks a lot to all of you for joining, to tolerating to meeting. That's ठीक है. बस एक ही चीज की जरूरत है, आप ज्वाइन करें और अपने आप को म्यूट रखें, फिर हम बाद में जब बात करेंगे इन लास्ट 15 minutes we should be discuss, we can talk to each other. The reason behind to that, we don't want to make it monotonous. A perfect interaction that is needed. Your opinion, your conversation, that's equally important and that's most welcome. But at the time of the joining, be careful. Thank you. हाँ, बात करते हैं सिक्योरिटी, secure physical environment and protection from the natural disasters and conflicts. No doubt, the different physical components what are existing around us, that should be good and we should be protected. You can imagine that condition, a teacher is teaching to a child and that child is not in a proper environment, that is in a forest. Whenever that is getting, that might be some wild animal can attack to him or her. That one cannot get that proper learning in that environment. That's why a concept of the classroom or that teaching in a secure environment, that's also. That should be away from all types of the conflicts. And together with that, free movement and living without being subjects of suspicion. What are the things that can be considered as the child that is suspected and that is maybe the harmful according to that child? Till that time that is not able to get the something, that is not ready to learn. So it's our responsibility to provide a healthy environment that's secure to that child, and in that sequence of the security, peaceful atmosphere free of regular check and intimidation from security forces. ये भी हो कि secure तो हो, but that should be peaceful environment. A secure and a strong house to prevent intruders. In that case of the intruders, that is the cause of the disturbance, damage of that child. That should not get a free environment to learn. That's why it is developed the concept of the classroom teaching, school, that a particular place where that can get a healthy and peaceful environment to learn. House that ensure privacy and personal safety, that is needed for the classroom teaching, that is important. House that ensure privacy and personal safety. Community members coming through the intervene and resolve problems. In such type of the intervention, that child is not ready to learn. That's why security, that is very important factor in the concern of the learning, listening of each other. Now, in reference of the physical, mental and moral, spiritual well-being, we are getting that living without illness and suffering. तब तक वो सीखने को तैयार नहीं होगा तब तक कि that is free from any suffering or illness, कोई बीमारी न हो, कोई problem न हो, that is normal, healthy, then that is ready to learn. Having mental happiness, mentally, whenever that is happy, that is not thinking about their family problems, or that child is not getting that thinking about that he or she has not completed the homework, or the teacher is going to scold to him or her like that. Till that time, that should be not ready to learn. Good thoughts, feelings towards others. Now, at the place towards others, we can say towards the teacher, especially for the classroom teaching. Till the time that is not ready to learn, that cannot learn. Directly we can say cannot learn. Till that time that don't have the good thoughts, feelings towards the others, आपकी बात वो तब तक नहीं सुनेगा जब तक कि वो आपके बारे में पॉजिटिव ना हो। सीधी सी बात। एक बच्चे को हम कितना भी सिखाएं, as we are familiar about that, our deeds are more important and more impressive in comparison to our words. हमारी बातों से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट ये होता है कि हम करते क्या हैं, बच्चे हमको देखते हैं, फॉलो करते हैं। और उस फॉलो अप में अगर उसने आपके लिए, आपके प्रति उसके दिमाग में कोई नेगेटिव थॉट्स डेवलप हो गए तो वो आपसे नहीं सीख सकता। ये तो बिल्कुल तय है। Having with courage and endeavor, self-initiative and drive, living with wisdom, not acting on emotion, rational behavior. That is important. Moral behavior of community members. Whenever the moral behavior of the community members should be not positive, not supportive, that one cannot learn, that cannot be able to develop to themselves. Careful spending, living religiously, all these components are responsible for the development of that child or the proper learning. What reduces, next point, or we are getting that, what reduces community mental health and well-being? क्या वजहें हैं जिसकी वजह से community mental health और well-being reduce हो रहे हैं, कम हो रहे हैं, खत्म हो रहे हैं? Political violence and natural disasters. The most concerning point, that is the political violence. As we are familiar about that different political activities, different political violence of among the society, not only in the country. That's the one of the major reason in the society, that is the problem of the proper development, proper growth of the society, and in the, that is the hindrance, that is the barrier in the proper development of a person. Political violence, we have a lot of the example. We can talk about the Ukraine, Russia, USA, different countries, India, Pakistan, India, China, different concerns. All these concerns have their impact in the society, and that reach till the classroom also. There are the barriers. Natural disasters are the another major fact. Different types of the natural calamities, they destroy the life. Till that time, the mental health of a person will be not stable, that should be not strong, that should be not considered as the good, that is free from this disasters, flood, famine, droughts. They have a great impact in the life of the child, of the family, of the society. Displacements, certainly natural or political. Any region that causes the displacement, we can get a burning example of the Afghanistan. What happened recently in the Afghanistan due to the attack, or what are the political reason behind that? The migration, displacement, that inhibit, that crush the personality, that crash the development of the child. Poverty, we are very well known about that. We can discuss about that poverty throughout the days, years, बहुत टाइम तक हम बात कर सकते हैं. That is a major. Poor housing condition, certainly that is associated from the poverty. That is the economical condition. What we have discussed about the material well-being. That poor housing condition that not facilitate the development of a child. Whenever there is not sufficient space to sit, to study, to perform daily life activities, that reduce the mental health, that cause the stressful environment of the poor housing condition, conflicts within the family and community. We are knowing about that so many times. Per day, per week, we can get the such type of the news in newspapers and in television. Due to the conflicts of the family and community, the murder, attack, fighting, different conditions that have the great impact on the child. Social exclusion and isolation. No doubt, we are very well known about that. We are the social animal. Human being is the social animal, and whenever that should be isolated from the society, how that development is possible? How can that one is able to learn something good in the society? Next point, what reduces community mental health and well-being? कैसे इसको कम किया जा सकता है, कैसे रोका जा सकता है, क्या इसको कारण है? Injustice and discrimination, we know that whenever for there is not a chance of the honest justice in the society, in family, in school, that discrimination of the child with the others, that inhibit, that reduce, that crush the personality. अगर एक ही प्रॉब्लम के लिए एक कोई गलती करते हैं, दो स्टूडेंट करते हैं और क्लास में हमारे पनिशमेंट का तरीका गलत हो जाता है, किसी के साथ दूसरा रिस्पॉन्ड होता है, इन दैट कंडीशन दैट चाइल्ड डेवलप ए गिल्ट and that guilt inhibit the development of that personality of child. That will be surprise. What we are getting that new topic, that is the urbanization. Urbanization is considered as a cause of reduction of mental health and well-being. How that's? Yeah, certainly. That urbanization that leads to that interference in the natural status, natural condition, and whenever our connect should be not in a proper way with the nature, that is a drawback that inhibit why people are fond to visit the hilly region or different tourist places. That is due to the crush of the urbanization, population load in the society. Communicable diseases, no doubt. Recently, we have got that about the corona. No need to explain, no need to discuss about that. कितना impact पड़ा, कितने बर्बाद हुए हम कैसे? What can you think about that? थोड़ी सी उस पर बात कर लेनी जरूरी है कि in last 2 years, how much loss, how much damage of the intellect happens in our society, in our country, not only in our country, all over the world. You can imagine that condition. Suppose that one student who was ready for the school and first time he or she was going, was ready to in last year 2020. And till today, that have not visited the school. Suppose that condition, whenever that child was in the first class or in the lower class, and their parents had withdrawn to that from the schools. स्कूल से निकाल दिया, फीस क्यों दे, तमाम सारी बातें आई थी. Work stress, certainly work stress, that is another important factor. Anyone can perform their best whenever that is happening. In a stressful environment, no one is ready to perform their best. They are doing. Till that time, their performance, their personality should be not developed. That is stress-free. Alcoholism, drug abuse, and sexual abuse. All these are the very important concern. Alcoholism, drug abuses. The recent example we can get from the Punjab state. What is the condition of the drug abuse in that state? There is a majority of the population, youngsters, are the victim of the drug abuse. In similar manner, we can say about that sex discrimination, sexual abuse in our society, all over the world. That sexual abuses are the major concern that inhibit the development of the personality. Now we should talk about some psychological contexts of the mental health and well-being. What are the factors that are affecting mental health and well-being? And what are the implications for mental health and well-being? क्या चीजें हैं, क्या factors हैं? They have their effect on the mental health and well-being. That's the cultural abuse, destruction, and collapse. Whenever there should be any collapse in any society, any organization that have the impact, oppression and domination, oppressed society, oppressed mentality, dominating personalities, whenever are there around us or with us. Humiliation. What's that condition of the humiliation? The punishment, that is okay. What are the remarks? Till a limit in a proper way, that's okay. But whenever anybody have got the humiliation, there will be a damage in their personality. Powerlessness. With the humiliation, there another thing, that is the powerlessness. What you are doing, that's okay. Even then, you don't have the power to take the decision, appropriate decision that have the impact. Poverty. That is another great concern of the development of the, that is the region of the drastic degeneration of the proper mental health. That is the denigration, racism, sexism, and ageism. All these are factors. What is the discrimination according to the race, sex, and the age? That's not a healthy environment. That causes the damage in the personality, that not enhance to that person, to that child, for their proper development. Regarding the implications of mental health and well-being, we are getting that confusion and conflicts. अगर cultural abuse हो रहा है, destruction हो रहा है, collapse हो रहा है, तो that causes the confusion and conflict. That should be not able to take that proper decision. Whenever there should be the oppression and domination, then the development of the anger, hate, and domination, गुस्सा आएगा, नफरत होगी, all this. Humiliation, that is the rage and revenge. That is another very important fact. What? Whenever anybody have got humiliated by anyone, in that the mentality of the revenge should be developed in that. That one is ready, that want to get that revenge against to that person or that situation. And whenever that should, there is lack of the power, that develop the condition of the helplessness and misery. That feels that again in the case of denigration, low esteem, and the worthlessness due to the racism, sexism, and ageism, we are getting that the condition of the fragmentation, and that inhibit the chances of the opportunity of the development of his proper personality and proper behavior of the person. Social caste and stigmas. These are another very important components that responsible, that is the cause of the inhibition or distraction of the mental health. What's that? Social cause of illness are high in terms of family breakdown. Social costs of illness are high in terms of family breakdown. Isolation, disharmony, poverty, deprivation, ये सारे factors, all these factors are collectively responsible, and these are the stigmas. Whenever there should be illness in the social caste, that caste feeling, that causes that, all these things, that is the reason of the family breakdown, isolation, disharmony. That is the root of the all types of the discriminations in society. And social stigma prevents many patients and their families seeking treatment for Angola hospital. Actually, that is in the concern of the Sri Lanka. We are talking that topic related from that Sri Lanka. That's the neighbor country. What is the way they are trying to treat the problem or the cases of the mental illness of the population? Many patients prefer to go to general hospital, psychiatric unit, or private hospital doctors to avoid getting them labeled. ये एक problem है. Whenever we are getting that problem, especially the mental problem, and whenever we visit to a psychiatric or anywhere, one in our society, in our family, that's in need of the psychiatric, then we have got a common component that is not mentally stable, that is the mad. So people are hide to themselves, trying to hide. That's why they visit to another places, local doctors and hospitals. What's the reason? Reason to avoid getting them labeled. No, don't avoid that condition. That's the condition is general and usual as same to the cough and cold. Be careful. अगर हमारे आसपास कोई ऐसा केस दिखता है, समझ में आता है, तो ये हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि उसको नॉर्मल हम ट्रीट करें और डॉक्टर से कंसर्न करें या एडवाइज करें. कोई चाइल्ड अगर हमको दिखता है कि दैट इज हैव द लैक ऑफ concentration in the class, or that is the abnormal behavior in the class, we are responsible to advise to the parents in a very logical way कि you must concern to the doctor, psychiatric. There is a proper treatment is needed. Another important fact, that is the forceful admission result in anger and hostile relationship between the patient and families. Whenever that one is forcefully admitted anywhere, that create another point of the concern, another step of the conflict. Now, what's the responsibility of the family? Family responds to persons with mental illness. If suppose that anyone in the family that have got the problem, any mental problem, mental illness, don't decide that, don't say that fluently, directly, that is the mad. No, that have got some problem that can be treated as same to the other diseases, other disorders. Caregivers were to take the patient home and desired to long stay when patients were aggressive at home. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा aggressive हो रहा है, be calm and cope with that patient. Don't take treatment as prescribed. वो ट्रीटमेंट नहीं ले रहा है, उसको दें उस तरह का ट्रीटमेंट. मैसअप फैमिली होम अफेयर्स, फैमिली और होम अफेयर्स को मैसअप करें. Don't have a caregiver at home. In that condition, caregiver were the patients are dependent on other lack of the productivity, misuse psychoactive substance, so hostility, maintain poor self-care. All these are the concern of the family. Family responses to person with mental illness. अब फैमिली की रिस्पांस क्या है अगर कोई एक पर्सन मेंटल इलनेस का शिकार है. इलनेस वाज द मेजर कॉज फॉर मेनी पेशेंट्स टू रिमेन सिंगल, सेपरेट और डाइवोर्स. वी आर गेटिंग दैट. We are the social animal. Human is the social animal. Whenever that should be remain alone, that will be not normal. That will get anywhere that mental illness. Separated in the family, that is the separation. Divorce, that is another important factor. 50% of the patients experience disharmony with their families. एक बहुत बड़ा कंसर्न है. अगर फैमिली में हार्मोनी नहीं है तो दैट इज ए मेजर रीजन ऑफ द इलनेस. 1/3 of the patients were considered a burden of the family. 1/3 में केसेस क्या पाए जाते हैं? That's the survey analysis. They have the excessive burden of the family. Only 1/4 of the patients received better family care. Out of that population patients analysis, we have got that 1/4 of the patients are only received better family care. 1/3 of the care given were not satisfied with the current status of the patient. 1/3 पेशेंट की करंट स्टेटस से सेटिस्फाइड नहीं है. ये सारे कंसर्न है. In that condition, how we can promoting mental health and well-being? Interventions are needed, and that interventions are at the two major aspects concern. Interventions should be the social. Whenever that patient is getting that sympathy and empathy, a normal behavior, sympathy, that is very important. Together with that, another one aspect regarding that our organization is talking, that is the empathy. We must be empathetic with that. It's our responsibility as a school teacher for the children, as a learned member of the society, in the society. We must be careful about such type of the cases. And we support the development of mental health and well-being of the society. Another one aspect we cannot ignore to that, that is the medical treatment that is needed in some different types of the disorders, diseases. We are in need of the medical treatment. Next one is strengthening resilience and support. Strength की जरूरत है. That is the need, individual, family and community strength. And resilienceing, that is the property by which we can endure to that person, endure to that child for the development of their mental strength. Promoting recovery approach. That is very important. We should be positive with that person who have got the mental illness, whose mental health is not normal. You be positive, you be hopeful, and say to that person, you are improving, you will be good, better, best. Developing hope, a chance of the hope is mandatory for the treatment. Overcoming barriers. What are the barriers are around to that person, around to that child? Overcome that, conquer, khatam kar dijiye. Social inclusions. Social inclusion that is also needed for that child, that person, for their development. Mental health intervention, medical modules, problem identified by symptoms of individuals. उसकी जो भी प्रॉब्लम है, जो भी बीमारियां हैं, that should be recognized by their symptoms. Illness represents biomedical pathology. Certainly, similar to the any other disorder, any other problem, their illnesses represents biomedical pathology. So test, diagnosis, proper diagnosis is needed, and according to that diagnosis, their proper treatment is mandatory for that person, for that child, for their proper development. One thing more I would like to inform you, that's mandatory. You should be continue this topic on Monday also to complete the 2 hours of the session. 2 घंटे का सेशन हम लोग पूरा करेंगे. 50% कंटेंट्स को आज हमने वाइंड अप किया. 50% remaining that should be completed on Monday. That's why wait for a few more minutes so we can complete our 1 hour session today, and next should be completed on Monday. Okay, mental health intervention. Help is via individual treatment, biological medication, psychological, taking therapy, environmental manipulation, that is the therapeutic, communities, advice, education, family support. All these things are the essential components for the treatment of that person, treatment of that child. If that one is not normal, that one is getting the problem of the not healthy. Mental health intervention social model. Origin cause of mental health problems are social. What we are getting that? That is important component. What we are getting that is the mental health is a concern of, that is the time. That is the social cause. Mental health mainly social रीजन की वजह से हो रहा है. ठीक. इलनेस इज सोशली कंस्ट्रक्टेड. जो बीमारियां हैं सोशली कंस्ट्रक्टेड ये कहा जा रहा है. हेल्प इज वाया सोशल इंटरवेंशन एंड सपोर्ट इन्वॉल्विंग फैमिली, कम्युनिटी, लिविंग कंडीशंस. और उसका प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट भी तभी होगा जब हम उसको प्रॉपर सपोर्ट देते हैं फैमिली से, कम्युनिटी से, और लिविंग कंडीशन उसकी बेहतर करेंगे. That's all for today. We should be continue the same topic on Monday. Then our topic of this promoting mental health should be complete. Monday को हम लोग फिर इस टॉपिक को कंटिन्यू करेंगे. In this way, we should be complete 2 hour sessions of in-house teachers training Now we can wind up today our meeting. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all of you. A special thanks to Mithilesh sir, Amit sir, who have given the technical support to me. Okay, thank you. We can quit now, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We should be start our next session next day from the same point.